All right, so I'm sounding a little hoarse right now because I'm still getting over something since Sunday, but I assure you that I will still roll the dice, do my best to make the voices, and we're gonna have a show. This is the episode of The Lone Roller, episode 29, the one where I'm sick. Cut to the intro. All right, Capybaras, welcome back to another episode of The Lone Roller. Like I said in the intro that I just did, I'm a little under the weather. I'm over the worst of it. However, you can still hear the sound of my voice, but I'm gonna do the best I can to make the voices happen. I'll try to do what I can. It kind of works, but it's a bit of a struggle. But for you guys, I want to have fun with this and make this a memorable episode just on this basis alone. So where we last left off with Talti, he faced off with Jito, the bounty hunter, on the small desert planet after Talti did a mission for the questionable and shady Rizzo, but turned out the thing that he delivered wasn't that bad. It was a snow machine to make the planet just a little bit colder, even though it was temporarily. Even though it was temporary. Sorry. Words. And when he Talti let his guard down, and when he did, he was confronted by the bounty hunter with Rizzo after Rizzo squealed. He snitched. He snitched, and he led Jito to Talti's whereabouts, where his identity became known. But after a quick battle between the showdown between Jito and with Talti ended with Talti as the victor. And when the sheriff arrived, Talti was able to convince the sheriff that Jito attacked him. Just this aggressively unprompted attack that Talti had to defend himself and convince the sheriff that Jito was lying, that he wasn't really Talti, that he is Sven. And Jito unfortunately rolled terribly, and because of that, was detained, allowing Talti to give the cold shoulder to Rizzo first and foremost, and get back to his ship on the way to Ascension Canderas. And that is the thread that I put in for this episode. The chaos factor has gone down to 6, and we are doing the scene where Talti is going to go back, is going to return. So at this point, we're going to say that it was a couple day trip, whatever, and we're just going to cut to him docking at that space station where Ascension is, where she's located. And with that said, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to roll a d10 against the chaos factor, which it is at 6, as I said before. And if we roll on it or under it, the scene is interrupted or altered. Or if we roll over, the scene proceeds as normal. So the scene is Talti going to update Ascension on everything that happened with Marcia. So the first thing we want to do is we want to roll our d10. Here we go. And I rolled a 3. The scene is altered. And with that, let's find out. Okay, so the scene is altered. So we're going to give it a slight tweak. What happens is that Talti docks at the space station and goes straight to the location that Ascension normally is at, where he's spoken to her several times, same location, but when he gets there, he finds out that she's not there. She's located somewhere else, and now he has to meet her. When he asks, where is she? He gets back, ooh, where should they meet? Okay, I got it. They someone, the person or the assistant or whatever, tells Talti that she is at the promenade. And I like that. The promenade. First thing that makes me think is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. If you guys have ever watched Star Trek, and I know for a fact I'm not the only person who's ever watched Star Trek, all right? Everyone at this point has seen Star Trek. Okay, maybe not everybody, but it's definitely a larger amount of people who've seen it at this point. And if you haven't seen it, then you're the weird one. So get it together, Derek. All right, moving on. So, Talti goes and finds Ascension Caderas and gets her attention the best way he can. He just simply approaches her. Ascension, Ascension. Ascension looks up and notices right away that it is Talti, and he looks a little bit rougher than the last time she had seen him. She thinks to herself that, oh no, Talti, what happened? What happened to him? And so she asks, Talti, what happened to you? And he says, I only need a moment of your time. Ascension, it is a long story, but I will do my best to sum it up as quickly as I can. So he fills her in. Talti just fills her in on everything that happened, how he went to Banca Grati, and on the way over there, all the things that happened to him along the way. But most important, just kind of skimming over that, and explaining when he got to Bancagrati that he met with Marcia and that she discovered his identity. He could not fool her, and she was so loyal to Senator Vamajen that she died. We still don't know if I still do not know if she did it herself or if Senator Vamajen did it to her. Ascension looks at Talti, meets his gaze, and says, Neither would surprise me, Talti. Neither would surprise me. Obviously, she calls him by Sven. I know I get into the scenes and whatnot. So, Talti looks back at Ascension and he goes, So I don't know what else to do. But it seems to me that we have to keep moving. The further we get closer to this, the further away that I get from it. And it's frustrating me. It's absolutely frustrating me. And he clenches his fists and he holds, and his face clenches as well. He bites his lip a little bit. For a moment, he tenses up. And then he releases. As Ascension tells him, Talti, calm down. Obviously calling him Sven. Get into the scenes, guys. I'm so sorry. Sven, please. Tranquilo. Tranquilo. You're right. You're right, Ascension. I'm sorry. Everything right now, as I said, it gets further. The closer we get, I still don't know what happened to my memory, where it went. Why did I voluntarily? Obviously, there's some inner workings here, shadows that we are not seeing that are controlling, pulling the strings. Obviously, they're eluding. They have to be eluding the senator. But we cannot keep, we cannot not make any progression. We can't. And that's the part that really bothers me, Ascension. Do you understand? Ascension nods her head. Talti continues. And with that, we have to find a way. Any sources, anything that you have found at this point that you can point me to. I want to roll on that really quick. Does Ascension have something that Talti, even if it's a small little thing, does she have something for him to explore? I'm gonna have to say that it is unlikely, and we're at a chaos factor of 6. So, with that said, we're gonna roll the dice. The percentile, which is our D10 over here, well, one of them. Now I need to find the other one. Estar aquí. We're going to roll. So with the chaos factor of 6, excuse me a moment. So we have to roll with an unlikely. We have to roll pretty much a normal 50-50. We roll if we roll a 50 or under, it's a yes. If we roll a 51 or up, it's a no. And if we roll 94 or up, it's a no and. So let's roll that dice. Rolling that dice. All right, here we go. I'm gonna hold it out because I want you guys to see my dice rolls. I need to get another camera for you guys. So here we go. Does she have any kind of information or any kind of lead for him to follow about following up with this cabal, or something? Well, let's just say something with the cabal. That's much easier. Let's not put an or in there. So something with the cabal. Does she have any more leads? I don't know if you can see that. I doubt it. It is a 21. Yes, she's got something for him. She puts her hands on Talti's shoulders and she looks at him and he meets her gaze. And she says, Talti, I know. Please, trust me. I know that there's something going on and you are frustrated and I understand. No more than anyone else, no more than you, I understand. However, I do have some good news after you have vented to me. So thank you for telling me. But I have good news for you. I have a lead. It's not big. It is not big at all. But it's something worth exploring. Maybe it will lead to the Cabal. And I think it's worth checking out. What do you think? And Talti takes a moment and he rubs his chin and to he looks back up to Ascension and he says, tell me where I need to go next. All right. Where is Talti going to next? All right. So we are going to roll on our locations table. And I want to, you know what I want to do differently this time? I should really start using the stars without number system because this is a stars without number podcast or YouTube show, however you're viewing it, if you're on the, Spotify or the Apple podcast. So in stars without number, there is a table called world tags. And then what you want to do is, when you're rolling for this, let me see, is it roll once or twice? So GMs can combine the elements of the two tags to create one's flavor specifically for that world. For example, two random tag for a role might be regional hegemon and psionics fear. I don't know what a hegemon is. I will have to look that up later. Combining the colonial official and mental purity investigator entries from the enemies list of those tags, we come up with Heinrich Salt, Imperial Mind Proctor, a Grim Inquisitor. I cannot words today. I am pretty under the weather. Okay, I was reading kind of the wrong paragraph. It says you want to pick two or roll two tags for any given roll using a single tag. It feels flat, so you want to combine it with something else. This doesn't automatically combine it to some intricately sophisticated roll model, but it gives you some kind of clear view that the PC can go after. So, like, we had a desert planet torn by civil war. That's something you would get. So, let's roll on this table. So let's start with, and I will roll down here because it is kind of difficult to, it's like very tricky to hold up the dice tray. So you guys are just going to have to believe me. 58, Pilgrimage Site, which was right above Pleasure World, by the way. That would have been fun again. So Pilgrimage Site, ooh, I like that so far. 22, Eugenic Cult. Ah, that is awesome. Okay, so a pilgrimage site for a eugenic cult. That makes total sense that something or someone a part of the Vamajen Cabal would be there. So Ascension looks at Talti and says, Sven, it is a world unlike any other. It could be dangerous. But I have to tell you, it is in the outskirts of our sector. And in it, it is a pilgrimage site for the eugenic cult. I want a name for that cult. So once again, we're going to go back to the Mythic GM emulator 2nd edition, and we're going to roll to come up with a name. These are fun because they're just random things on a table of 100, sometimes a word, a letter, some sort of noun to describe something, or adjective to describe something, or a noun, like one of them is animal or action or elements. It's just too funny. And it's been really challenging sometimes, so sometimes I've just been making up the names on the spot, like someone who writes from the seat of their pants. Not that I do that, but I do that. 75 gives us se, 61, a number. How about the number? How about the number 5? Because if I did 6 or 7, it's a bit of a tongue twister. I think say 5 is a good one. So I want to see if there's any more to that. I feel that's pretty complete, but let's see what else we get. We get C5, 95, funny enough, gives us WR, 100, Z. C5 words, we're going to call them the C5. That is the name of the eugenics cult that we're talking about here. Ascension looks at Talti and says, it is the group known as C5. C5. Yes, C5. They are in a planet not too far from here, in southern quadrant of our star system. Ooh, what is the name of that planet? Is there a name planet generator on Stars Without Numbers? I really have not read the whole thing to completion. Let's check it out. I just went ahead and pulled a name out of my head and went with the planet Torma. The eugenic cult survive on the planet Torma, on the southern quadrant of the star sector. Ascension gives him this data, gives him this information. He puts it into his tab, which is, short for tablet, because I've been going around calling it a pad or whatever. Let's just call it a tab. I want to make my own thing. From here on out, we're going to just call these tablet things tabs. Is everybody good with that? Good. All right. So, what's the best thing for two? Sen thinks about it for a moment. He's like, I will make haste and I will go to Torma. I will go to Torma now, Ascension. And Ascension stops him, grabs him by the shoulder, and immediately says, Sven, have you looked in the mirror lately? Talti vaguely remembers seeing his reflection every so often, vaguely seeing his reflection on the windscreen of his starship on the way back. He kept seeing that his face was pretty roughed up. Ascension suggests, Sven, just take the time, get some rest, and get cleaned up, and then make your way to that planet. It will still be there. I promise you. And Sven, does he take her suggestion? I'm going to call that 50-50. Does he take her suggestion? 96. 50-50, 96. Oh no. 50-50, 96 Chaos Factor 6 is a yes and. Or I'm sorry, it's a no and. No, he does not follow her advice. And is going to deceive her. He says to her that I will take your advice, Ascension, and I will go get some rest. So I want to roll on that using his talk. Does he deceive her? Does he deceive her? With a 9, you know, plus his charisma, plus the fact that he's a level 2 at talk, that's a 12. So yeah, she believes him. She goes, "Thank you, Talti. I really appreciate you taking my advice." And Talti walks away. He just goes back to whatever kind of shared quarters that he's been at with Priya and some other people. But he just goes there and he washes his face. He eats some food. He just kind of just regains whatever energy that he feels like he can, and then he goes to the equipment. He goes to the equipment area. He gathers up all the equipment that he needs, making the exchanges that he has to do with the equipment manager, signing everything out and giving some credits because that's just how the world works. And by world, I mean Star Sector. And he gets onto his ship and he undocks and puts in the coordinates from his tab onto the ship's navigation, and he sets out for the planet of Torma. And that is where we're going to end the episode. I hope it wasn't too short for everybody. I am kind of getting to that where I think it's time that I move on in the episode and get back into recovery mode so I can go to work tomorrow. All right, cool. So that ends the episode. So as always, follow me on Twitter as Alternative Zen. My Instagram is for Alternative Zen. Check out my blog, stillfire.home.blog. Please check out it's my author website. It's kind of like my voice actor website as well. I kind of make it a number of things that I bundle in together. Please go check it out. I have a story on there that I'm working on, trying to get it released hopefully early next year. It's called The Departing Tale of Christopher and the Hereafter. It's a Go on the website, read about it, read the first few chapters that I posted up there as a preview. As always, capybaras, I'm Leon, and thanks for stopping by.